behind the table episode with Paul Linn. We haven't talked in a while. I think last time we talked was on East versus West 14, right?
Yeah. It's been football season, so I've been MIA for the fix and all that good stuff. I'm looking forward to get back into things, but yeah, it's been a hectic past 14 weeks or so.
You got to do what you got to do, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So
Love it and I hate
you're
it.
you're returning to the big stage. I would think is still a big challenge. Krasimir
Absolutely.
Kostadinov. I would think for many arm wrestlers, especially around that weight, that's one of the dream matchups. How do you
Yes.
feel about it?
I mean, like when I first got started arm wrestling, Krasny was all over top eight and everything, and I never dreamed that I'd be in a position to get the opportunity to share a table with him. So I mean, again, like the blessings continue to pour in, the opportunities. I'm very thankful. The guy's a legend. Only, I could never hope to be able to live up to the status he's already achieved. So when I look at these matches, I'm just thankful for the opportunity.
So there's a lot of similarities in some guys you have faced before, right? Him and Sasho pulls very similarly. Him and Rustam pulls very similarly.
Mhm.
And you have one common opponent, not so like this year, right? It was this year? No, okay, he faced Lachlan last year, but you faced
Mhm.
Lachlan this year. So
Mhm.
if you look at that match, just that match alone, looks like you're just gonna run over him.
Mm-mm. Nah, man, you gotta. When you look at these, you do the arm wrestling math. There's so many variables that don't fit into that equation. But when you know what you know, and you have a little bit more insight into things, you realize that there are variables. Big weight difference between Lachlan when he pulled Krasny and Lachlan when he pulled me. Um, Big weight difference between me competing at 95 and competing at 105. There's just a lot of factors at play. To me, when I look at like the common opponents, the more important one is Krasny's match against John. I put a little bit more stock in his approach and his form when he pulled John. I know I haven't pulled John for quite a few years, but to me that was super impressive. And then I also got the barometer between him and Todd Hutchins, who I'm probably going to be traveling to train with this Saturday. So I'm doing my due diligence, but I don't I'm not the type of guy to put a whole lot of stock in that arm wrestling match. I know what Krasny has done throughout the course of his career. There's there's no world where I should be able to compete with him. So if I'm able to do so and make it a good match, I'm happy with that.
You expect surprises, or we all gonna expect what we usually see?
I don't know. Krasny can top roll. I used to be able to top roll till I forgot how, but who knows where the match is going to go? I mean, the king of the table matches are they run under the course of 6 rounds, so who knows what we're going to see? But I think it's going to be hard for either person to continue to lose the same way. So somebody's going to lose and somebody's going to have to adjust, right?
Hmm.
So who knows where that's going to take us? But I would assume that I would assume that he's preparing his inside as he always does, and I'm preparing my inside, among other things, as I normally do. So, but yeah, some different approaches to training for this one. I've been trying some different things and toying with some different training approaches. So we'll see if they pay dividends.
They're secret, or you want to keep them secret till the match?
No, no. I mean, when I was preparing for Sasho, I did a lot of the Bulgarian style approach, meaning like static holds, more frequent pulling, treating the table training more like a gym session with sets and reps. And I learned quite a bit from that, and I think I found that some of my errors in that approach. So I've adjusted that a little bit. I've added, I've gone back into those static holds, but I've added like some ballistic aspects to it and some surge training aspects and position holds that I wasn't doing in preparation for Sasho. And I've started adding some different, like on the table additional resistance forms outside of just bands. So been using some springs and some different things that I
I
think.
saw it. Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been using heavy bands and springs, and they have a total different feel. And one thing I've noticed with the spring is the resistance. It has more of a ballistic feel to it, like requires a little bit more stabilization. And what it has done is really, I think, conditioned my elbow, and I'm not getting a whole lot of elbow pain after table time. So we'll see how that pans out, because I think I'm gonna have to be in some sticky spots and be able to hold them.
Yeah, I would like you said. It's somehow we always forget that at one point someone's gonna lose,
Oh
and
yeah.
someone has to adjust. But every time we talk about matches, we're like, somehow everyone's winning. Right?
Oh, because
Yeah,
because everybody wants to envision themselves winning. I mean, everybody wants to come out. They want to train to win and everything. But if you're just training to win, you're probably just training one or two things. But if
yeah,
you're not training to be able to have the ability to adjust, then you're a one-trick pony, and it's more than likely that if you lose, it's going to be 3 or 4-0.
preparing while you have football season hard.
I mean, so football ended 2 weeks ago, so I still have the better portion of my camp that will be outside of football. So back to
Hmm.
more frequent training sessions per day, double days and longer sessions. So I'm spending about 4.5 hours in the gym now that we're outside of football. So I mean, I always train throughout the football season, and I always train arm wrestling specific and total body. I just have to condense it more because I may only have 2 hours or an hour and a half. So I'm comfortable with my lead up time because I'm having this last 6 7 weeks that I can really focus heavily, and I feel good. And the good news about being coming off a football season is I'm feeling relatively healthy.
That's good. That's nice to hear. Also, I'm excited that you're gonna go meet up with Todd Hutchings,
Hmm.
right? And you have time to recover after that workout, which I will think takes some time recovering.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you want a sore elbow, all you got to do is slip no further than Todd's place. So,
Yeah. Hey, what you thought about Todd's last match? Were you surprised, as most people were? Like, holy,
I mean, I'm like Yoshi Kanai predates my arm wrestling career.
also
So
mine. Yeah.
yeah, so like, but I've spoken with Neil and some of you other guys so much that I had a feeling the open top roll style. We know that Todd has traditionally struggled with Devin and Michael Todd, and if Yoshi's anywhere near there, it could present a problem. And actually, the first stop that Yoshi got, I started to worry, like for Todd. So I wasn't super surprised, but I was very like happy that the match went down the way it did and finished the way it did, because I definitely wanted Todd to win. But yeah, super entertaining, and that's why the smart people get paid the big bucks to make the matches.
That is true. That is true. That was crazy match. I
Oh, I
would
loved
think
it.
like Todd still feels something from it. Like he has to. He has
Oh,
to.
I'm going to ask him. I'm going to ask him on this weekend for sure. Like I kind of want to hear how he felt about that one, because I know he's made mention about like maybe wanting to pull Devin again and things like that.
Hmm.
So I wonder if he still feels as confident with that open top roll. I don't know,
Yeah.
but I'm sure he learned a ton from it.
I think he definitely did. Like we talked straight afterwards, and he said like, dude, it's a little unexpected. He thought like he knew he might end up there, but he thought like it would just go sideways and it would just fold, right? And it didn't.
Well, I mean, isn't that what all of us who love side pressure just want to believe anyway? Like, listen, we can just
Yeah,
go sideways whenever we want without our hand.
yeah. You should like. How will you stop me?
No, it was an
Uh,
awesome match. The card was awesome too, man. I loved it. Loved it.
the whole event was
Oh
really,
yeah.
really awesome. Like this was like the winner on the paper and on the screen, in my opinion.
Yeah, I
Um,
wish I could have been there. I'm jealous.
Yeah, this time Team West didn't have the captain, which was weird.
Oh, well, they did better, so that should tell you I probably should never go.
No, no, no. Listen, you and Krasi, right? What are the biggest differences in your opinion in your styles of pulling? What you do differently than he?
Um, I mean, he's not slow. He's definitely twitchy, and he can win on the go. I think he definitely has an offensive hook. He has an aggressive hook. I think he's probably better than me on the defensive style of hook pulling, like almost without a doubt. I think his experience level and his understanding of when to tuck in and hold a position and not gas yourself out. His ability to pull on that negative side is something that I'm still working on. Um, but I mean, when you look at a lot of things, he definitely has that quote unquote European style hook where he can tuck in and sit on the defensive side, which I'm working on building, but I'm not quite there yet, I don't think. But on paper, it's probably pretty close when you look at the offensive style of pulling. Um, he definitely rotates in his hook, and he can sit inside pressure and lean through his joint too, which I think is a little different than I normally approach pulling. I'm a little bit more side pressure, drag, rotational down pressure. So, yeah, we'll see. I mean, you never know. Hopefully, I mean, it's one of those matches where I truly believe that it's a toss-up style match, and some of those unseen variables like who's most healthiest on the day, those type of factors, or who just might be hitting goes on the day. I think those type of things could weigh in on the outcome.
Yeah, like there's so many. Like I do see where both of you could dominate, because Krasi now pulls differently, but I think he kind of like he took some years for him to master his new arm, because his arm is like this. Like his range of motion is way more terrible than, let's say, Michael Todd's.
Yeah.
So when he starts, it looks like he's gonna top roll you because he's so far away from his arm, right?
Hmm.
Like, he can't come closer, but that hit, like it just like you expect a top roll and then it just goes on the side is very hard to deal with. But like, did you learn something or saw something in a match versus Lachlan Adair that his
Yeah.
match versus Lachlan?
I mean, like to me, the Lachlan match went all over the place. And what I thought was interesting is the position. Like Lachlan's offense seemed to come more from direct side pressure, tricep press, things like that. Like there seemed to be, but to me, I don't think it's so tricky for me to gauge that match because I don't know what Lachlan's power level was on that day because he was so significantly bigger against Krasi than he was against me. And I've only ever grabbed Lachlan once. And when I pulled with him, I didn't get to feel all of those positions, really, because the way the match panned out. And even when we after pulled, I didn't feel a whole lot of those positions. So I mean, I think what I took away from that match is the importance of being able to control center in the setup, and being able to stay positive in A side, B side, and then in the instance of when it goes B side, where is the best possible position to hold? Like I think Lachlan had some positions where he was holding straight on his bicep, and I think I have some spots where I can do that too, but I have to do it more efficiently. That was one of my biggest takeaways. If the match goes to the losing side for me, how do I adjust from there? And that's been a big portion of my focus for the prep.
Gotcha. Yeah, because like Kasi is so hard to deal with. Like he has so much. Again, he has pulled so many different guys, and
Yeah.
usually the ones that does the best versus him is long top rollers,
Right.
right? long lever, explosive top rollers, and if they can stay away. Like not so long ago, Nugo Chikaze, right?
Hmm.
Listen, Nugo is impressive. He's so
Oh, I know.
impressive. It's
Yeah,
crazy. Like,
that guy's the real deal, and he's not a long levered top roller. He's a short levered top roller.
no, short
Yeah.
lever, but
Yep.
just so powerful. It's insane. Like
Yep.
he's becoming one of my favorites. And
Yes. Yeah, it's easy to like the
yeah,
guy. The energy he brings and everything. It's hard to not like him.
yeah. When you but you
Yeah.
like you put the things on a paper, like, or you look at, you're like, no way, and then boom, no way
Yeah.
for anyone else.
Yep.
Which, yeah, exciting. The classes are very, very deep, and yeah. What's your goals for 2025? Not counting this match, but 2025.
I mean, I'm still focused on that 95 class and to be able to climb in it. I know, Irakli has kind of separated himself, for sure. We'll see how things pan out. But I do want to continue to progress in that 95 kilogram class again. For me to get to 105, like I like it because I like the opportunities because it's new people to face, but it's like I don't have to have my foot on the gas pedal when it comes to nutrition and discipline quite as much. It actually is difficult for me to get to that 231, 232. So I like the refreshing aspect of not having to do all that stuff. But at the end of the day, I also like the grind of keeping my body in check and then making that 209. I do think that's my best spot. So I'd like to continue to see how 95 pans out and keep chipping away at some progress on those rankings and hopefully eventually get back to a title shot.
Last match you had was a rematch versus Rustam Babayev.
Hmm.
What can you tell me about that match? Like, did it went down exactly how you thought it's gonna be, or like you did? In my opinion, you did better than the first time you pulled.
Yeah.
But Rustam is so hard to deal with. Like,
So the first time we pulled, I basically burned 2 rounds with bad
trying to
decisions. Yeah,
yeah,
like bad, erroneous evaluation prior to the match of where I needed to go. If we had more than one round in a hook, that would tell me a little bit more. But we had that one round in a hook, and obviously got hurt, and we only pulled for a few seconds before that. But I do believe that the version of Rustam that showed up to Florida was 100% better than the version that I saw in Istanbul when he was just coming back. So I think Rustam is vastly improved. I think I've improved as well. Um, I learned quite a bit about patience in that match. I do think he was the better man on the day for sure. I would never ever question that. He deserved to win 100%. I think I could have stole a round here or there potentially if I had not been so impatient. And that's an issue I have that's kind of ongoing. Surging at the wrong time or surging too hard. But I learned a lot about being in a defensive spot and being patient there. And it taught me that I do in fact have defensive positions that I don't have to panic when I'm in. So that to me was very healthy for my growth and approach to preparation for future inside matches.
So also on the same card, he's gonna face John Brzenk. So you have pulled both of them.
Who's
How
that?
do you see
Rustam? When
Rustam?
was that announced? How did I miss that?
Or maybe it's gonna be announced when
Okay.
this comes out.
Okay, I love that. That's awesome. Hey, guys, if you haven't heard, well, listen. I'm going to be honest with you. I love John, and I told myself like I would never bet against John, and I won't bet against John. But I think Rustam will be the favorite.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
mean, when you look at it, like if you're just like you're doing arm wrestling math, you got John and Sasha to go off of. You got John and Krasi to go off of. Stylistically, I mean, that's where we're going, and I think Rustam is continuing to do this on his comeback. So I mean, he could be a scary animal on that date, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'll be rooting for John. I'll be giving
All of us
every
will.
ounce of energy. Yeah. And listen, I wouldn't be super surprised if John found a way to top roll or do something weird. I think it's going to be a tall task if it goes into a hook.
Yeah. Like John doesn't have any easy matches anymore. Like we're like, let's give something easy to John,
Yeah.
and it's Rustam. What?
No. Yeah. No.
But that's a
Jeez.
rematch since 2000. What is it? Six, seven, eight, something like that.
Yeah. Like
So
we're talking about 20 years ago, man.
yeah,
Jeez. And
yeah.
Rustam's younger than me. Rustam's younger than me, and John's 60. Come on, guys. Jeez.
Good match. Good match.
Yeah.
Good match. Yeah. So now you have last few weeks, maybe 2, 3 weeks to do some work. How those are gonna look like?
Well, you know what? Like in preparation for Rustam, another differentiating factor was I had I pulled Lachlan and I pulled Rustam on not short notice, but there wasn't a whole lot of time span in there. And I after pulled when we were in Dubai a little bit too hard, like an idiot, and I pulled with Gennady and some of the other Georgians, and went home with some elbow issues on the inner elbow. And I trained through it and trained through it and trained through it, and it got worse and worse and worse. And I had to take the last 27 days or so, and I got a PRP injection, and basically laid off for that whole time. So I felt great on the day, so I can't say anything. Like that's not like a detracting factor from that match. But I am very much looking forward to training up to 7 days in preparation for this. And the good news is, if I'm correct in everything that I'm hearing, this match is going to be in Atlantic City, New Jersey. This card. It just
That's the
so
plan.
happens that that's like 2 hours from my house, and I also have a second house about 20 minutes from there. So I'm going to be like literally in my backyard. So
Perfect.
I'll be able to train up to 7 days and even keep all the blood flow stuff going the whole way leading up to the match. So I'm really excited about that. So I'll probably train. I'll probably cut table time off 10 days in advance. I'll cut heavy training off 7 days in advance, and then blood flow the rest of the way.
Match. Like exciting match for me because I there's so many possibilities how it can go down. I do believe it's gonna end up in a hook and in a war. You're always a professional. Can't wait to see you back on table.
Yeah, I can't wait to see you too, man. It's been too long now. We don't talk anymore. We're not even friends no more. I feel like.
No, 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 no. I'm gonna now save your number again in my phone
Yeah,
just in
hey,
case.
listen, you're gonna be absolutely in my backyard now. Don't worry, the drinks are on me after this thing, all right?
BBQ. BBQ. Okay, guys. Paul Linn gonna face Krasimir Kostadinov on King of Table 13 on December 14th. Don't miss it. All the information is in description. Stay strong and love arm wrestling.